The obvious choice is brought to you by Hotels.com. With Hotels.com's simple rewards program, get one free night for every 10 you stay. Our Hotels.com obvious choice quarterback for the first week of the postseason. Over your daily fantasy lineups, Jameis Winston against that porous New Orleans secondary.
Yeah, sort of a tricky week at the quarterback position. Not a lot of guys who you feel super confident in, but Jameis Winston definitely is one of them. And if you are a Jameis Winston season-long owner, just one of two matchups with the Saints that you will get in the playoffs. That is assuming you advance to your championship. If you don't, it will be no fault of Jameis's. He has a great setup here going up against the Saints, a game that is huge for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, tied with Atlanta in the NFC South, for first place. This is going to be a big game for a position in that division, and I think Jameis Winston is going to have himself an excellent game here. Tyler, last 4 games, he has been very efficient, more than 7.8 yards per attempt in all 4 of them, 8.5 yards per attempt in 3 of those 4. We love efficiency from a quarterback. We know it drives fantasy scoring. You look up and down that New Orleans roster, can't really find anyone who's going to be able to keep Mike Evans in check. Cameron Brate has really emerged as a weapon for Jameis Winston. He gets Charles Sims back this week. That is his best receiving option out of the backfield. And even though we've seen Doug Martin play in the last few weeks and getting plenty of volume, hasn't been too effective. So I do think we could see the Buccaneers lean up a little bit more than they typically do on Winston and the pass. Love him. And for a daily fantasy perspective, you really don't have to pay that much for him no matter where you're playing your daily fantasy.
Yeah, he's only $6,700 for this week on DraftKings, which is very reasonable price, under $7,000. You mentioned that matchup with New Orleans. They're 31st in the NFL in pass yards allowed per game, and they're 25th in the NFL in DVP against the quarterback position. But I like the floor that Jameis has provided. He's really not put up a stinker this year where he gives you single-digit or low teens points. It's right around 16, 17. A lot of games in the 20s this year. If you're looking at standard and or DraftKings scoring, you get a few bonuses on DraftKings that help out when he goes over 300 yards. But the reason I love Jameis is I feel like he has maybe one of the safest floors this week because New Orleans boosts the floor and the ceiling of any quarterback that you are going to play. That's why Jameis Winston is our Hotels.com obvious choice Week 14 QB. That brought to you by Hotels.com. So simple, it is the obvious choice. All right.